Hey, welcome back to another episode of Real Talk Live. I'm your host, Krypton Caged, and I'm joined here today by my co host, the Viking. How are you doing, man?
Not too bad, man. There's loads of cool news to talk about. Usually we have news every week, but we've got some really cool news to talk about today, especially our last topic. I think it is Brendan Fraser as maybe a villain in Batgirl. So that's awesome.
Yeah, lots of interesting stuff to talk about. And once again, I apologize that my camera is still not working. The adapter is on the way and hasn't arrived. I had to buy a new adapter and it's on the way. So by next week it should be fixed. For now, you'll just have to look at this still picture.
I don't think there was any complaints last week.
Yeah,
Nobody was like,
no, nobody
I need
cares.
to see need to see Casey's face in motion.
Yeah, nobody cares. But yeah,
But no, let's get into it.
yeah, let's get right into it. The first topic of today is Hayden Christensen returning to Star Wars with the Ahsoka series. So first of all, we heard that he was reprising his role as Anakin Skywalker or Darth Vader in the Obi-Wan series that's coming up. And now
Yeah,
the recent news is this.
my cue to read out the news.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. That's my fault. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Hayden Christensen returning to Star Wars with Ahsoka series. This is from the Hollywood Reporter. The actor will reprise the role of Anakin Skywalker, aka Darth Vader, in Ahsoka, the latest Star Wars live action series from Lucasfilm and Disney Plus. Multiple sources tell the Hollywood Reporter plot details are being kept in the far reaches of the Outer Rim, but it is known that the longtime Star Wars lightsaber wielder Dave Filoni is writing the series and executive producing with Jon Favreau. It is unclear how Skywalker, or for that matter, Vader, will figure into Ahsoka, which, like Mandalorian, is set 5 years after the events of Return of the Jedi, and therefore after Vader's death. Now, I don't know about you, Kirsty, but I don't hate the prequels like a lot of people do. I enjoy them. I don't really like the first one that much, the one with the kid Anakin Skywalker and the races, but that movie for me is saved by the epic lightsaber fight with Darth Maul.
Mhm.
But then we go into the next two movies, and I like them. I know like the CGI is very jarring at times, visual effects. Like it was the first time this was kind of done on this scale, and I think at times it looks brilliant, sometimes it looks poor. But overall, I really like the story of Anakin Skywalker, and Ewan McGregor as Obi Wan Kenobi was just perfection for me. So those two characters kind of saved the prequels for me, and especially Revenge of the Sith, where those two have a lightsaber fight. They, you know, which led to the creation of Darth Vader. I love that. I really, really do. They're entertaining to me. And over the years, I've seen people shit on Hayden Christensen as an actor, and maybe he's not the best actor in the world, but like, there's plenty of action stars out there who aren't great actors, but they're in entertaining films. And Hayden Christensen, for me, was very good as Anakin Skywalker, and I wanted to see him to return big time. And it was rumors they might return in Rise of or the last Star Wars movie. I forget what it's called because it's terrible. Rise of Skywalker. What's is that what it's
Yeah,
called? Yeah, Rise of Skywalker. But
we don't
but
talk
I
about that.
yeah, I don't like that one at all. But for a long time I wanted Obi Wan Kenobi to return, like with Ewan McGregor, either for a movie or for a series, and that box has been checked. And now Aidan Christensen is back as well and appearing in the Ahsoka TV series, where Rosario Dawson was amazing in The Mandalorian as the character. So, like, I'm
Yeah.
really excited for this one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. First of all, hello everyone. Welcome to the chat. And in case you haven't heard, my camera isn't working, so that's the reason you're seeing this still image. But yeah, getting back to the topic, I did enjoy his performance as Anakin Skywalker, and I used to hate the prequels. Like you said, there are a lot of bad things about them, but over the years I have rewatched them, and I still don't like some of the things and the way it feels so cartoonish at times, and they have such disgusting, weird creatures. So apart from all of that, I can understand why George Lucas wanted to do all that, and it's like he wanted his vision out there and all, and all that stuff. So I appreciate that, but I don't hate them now. I think all three of them are fine. Even the Attack of the Clones and even Phantom Menace, I still find them okay. And yeah, Hayden was great as the character, and I loved when they announced that he's returning, because obviously he was hated for a very long time, and this is like his redemption arc. And just like Jared Leto got to do it, and Zach got to do it and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So I love when stuff like this happens, and I can't wait for his performance as both Anakin and Vader, because I know that I haven't seen Clone Wars, but I know that there's a long bond between Anakin and Ahsoka. So I know that fans will be really, really happy seeing them together on the screen in live action. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
it's all about the material they're given as well.
Yeah,
People say he's a bad actor or he's bad at the character, but look at some of the lines he had to deliver. And they
yeah,
lose, couldn't save that script. So, but this time around, you have John Favreau and Dave Filoni who have saved Star Wars. Is that a good thing to say, maybe, in terms of the reception of it with
yep,
hardcore fans? Because The Mandalorian is received so well, and then the animated features that Dave Filoni produces are, I haven't watched them all, but people say they love them, and he's the right guy to have involved. So I think eventually they would transition over to the movies. But isn't Ahsoka the character he created, Dave Filoni? I'm right. Um,
yeah,
I think so. So yeah, the right team's involved, and I'm sure he'll be brilliant. I'm looking forward to him more in the Obi-Wan Kenobi one, because he was alive in that time period that we're going to get to see Obi-Wan, because he just became Darth Vader, or that transition. But in Ahsoka, he'll probably just be a Force ghost, or
hmm,
maybe a dream sequence to haunt her, because
yeah,
they were friends and stuff in the animated series. But yeah, I'm more looking forward to him in the Obi-Wan show, because he would actually be in it
yeah, me
alive.
too. Yeah, absolutely. Because even their dynamic was really good. Like, from the prequels, I think the best one, obviously, everyone agrees, I think, is the last one, Revenge
Yeah,
of the Sith. And
yeah,
obviously the Battle of Mustafar is like the best, scene amongst the prequels, and it's between Obi-Wan and Anakin. So seeing them together is obviously a really great character dynamic as well. So yeah, I'm more excited for that as well, but it's obviously, great to see more of him in other stuff as well. So yeah, I'm all for it.
yeah. I think the book of Boba Fett is coming this Christmas, and then I think that the Obi-Wan show is coming around March, April, May of next year. So we don't have that long to see him return.
Yeah. All right, then. We are definitely looking forward to it. Let us know what you guys think. And let's move on to the next topic, which is Uncharted. All right, so first of all, I haven't played the games. I have heard of it. I have seen some gameplay, and it's kind of like Indiana Jones, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, it's is the adventure type genre, and I'm not that interested in it, but um, I've seen some gameplay. I've heard that this is one of the best games, and a lot of people love the story, the characters, and all that. And when this movie was announced, and when Tom Holland was announced, people hated it because they are going with a young version of the character, and obviously they wanted to make this into a long running franchise, so they cast a young actor so that they can go for like Uncharted 5, 6, 7, whatever. So it makes sense. I know that people are nitpicking, like, why doesn't Sully has a mustache and all that, but because this is just first look. Over the period of time, he'll definitely have the look of the game. So I think people just need to be patient. And apart from all that, I think the trailer by itself looks very interesting. I was definitely sold in watching this from this trailer. It looks fun. It looks like um It will be a really good movie to watch in the theater and just have fun with it. And, it looks funny as well as grand in its scale. So I'll be watching it.
The games is a good kind of description. Indiana Jones kind of. Um, yeah, people were not impressed that Tom Holland was cast, but like if this does well, he could play the character for 15, 20 years. And that's what Sony want.
Yeah.
And he's a popular guy. You know, he's got a huge fan base. So I'd never had any problems with the casting whatsoever. Mark Wahlberg, on the other hand, he's good when he's in good stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, everyone wants the character to look like the character looks in the games now. But eventually, if these films do well, Sully will have a mustache. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Tom Holland will look like
Mark,
the
I think he also posted an image with a mustache once.
yeah. It's all to stop the next sequel. To drop more things. Oh, back to the next movie because that stuff you wanted is going to happen in the next one. So
Yep.
eventually, Tom Holland will look like the game character, but like
Hmm.
that's not the story they're telling right now. And I think some people were saying that they've showed some stuff in the trailer have been like in game 2 and 3, so it looks like maybe they're adapting a few of the games in one.
Yeah.
But yeah, the trailer was fun. It was funny, seemed to be good action in it. Just the music choice was a little bit consistent. It was the
Yeah. I
same kind of
was.
word over and
Yeah.
over again. It's like yeah, but everything else was looked good. It looked fun.
Yeah. Same. Even I thought the music was a bit, kind of cheesy, and they could have went with a big score orchestral type music and make it fit, but whatever. I guess that's the tone of the movie, so they had to keep it. But yeah, in some of the pictures, Tom looks great, and this looks like a big fun movie to me. So I'll be watching it.
Yeah, it comes out in February, I think. So not that
Yeah,
long to go. It's releasing the trailer this early though is a good sign that they're impressed. They're not. Well, they're behind it. If the trailer came out 3 weeks before the movie came out, or in January, then I think we'd be a little bit worried. But coming out this long before the movie comes out, that's a good sign for me.
yeah, absolutely. All right, then let's move on to the big topic today, which is a small movie called Dune, which came out
Yeah.
recently. Before I get into it, what are your first thoughts since you watched it just recently, and what are your first thoughts about this movie?
It's one of the most largest scale films I've ever watched ever. Like it's a beautiful film. The visuals, the CGI, everything is just outstanding. And yeah, I didn't know anything about the books, characters. And I was worried going into it I would be confused following the storyline because all these words are hard enough to pronounce, never mind spell and stuff like that. So, but actually, I understood it, and the film lays out everything perfectly. I wasn't ever confused. I was behind the characters. The House of Atreides, Paul Atreides, which is Timothy Chalamet's character. We follow that character. I understood it. It's very, very simple. And I think because I've seen all the Star Wars movies, this was easy to grasp as well because George Lucas read the books, then made Star Wars. So that's where he got most of his ideas from. That's why a lot of themes are similar in terms of the Emperor and the good and the bad and the Force and things like that. There's a lot of that element in this movie, but overall, yeah, it's a slow movie. It's at times I was thinking to myself, I don't know if general audiences will like this because there's not much happening. Like because dialogue's all good, the story's good, but the action is very limited at times. But when the action does come, it is entertaining. But I just wanted more action. But I think even Villeneuve said there will be a lot more action in the second film, so that's okay. But yeah, I thought it's just beautiful. Like Blade Runner 2049 for me, directed by Denis Villeneuve, was one of the best ever, and that's just his peak. That's his best ever. Like I don't think he'll ever touch that. But Dune is, I think, over these next 2 movies or 3 movies, how much he ever makes, will be touching Blade Runner 2049. But it's hard to be critical of this movie because the ending shows that a part two is needed. It's one long story, like Lord of the Rings, and as we'll talk about, it was just announced earlier that a sequel is coming. Thank God. But yeah, I did enjoy this, and I thought the performances were all good. It's just I did parts of it I didn't like because I would have liked more depth with characters like Josh Brolin, more of his backstory, more of Jason Momoa. But I understand that it was all about Paul Atreides and him discovering his power and what he's supposed to be. But I loved in the film he gets visions of the future, of good futures, bad futures, and I don't know what's real, what's not real, what's going to happen in the next few movies. But yeah, it's the score. At times, it's hard to understand the dialogue. Maybe it was just me because the score is so loud. But yeah, the score is fantastic. Hans Zimmer did the score for this one, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like it's fantastic. But some of the shots in the sand with the sand dunes, sand just moving, flowing in the air, the spice moving within the sand, the sandworms, unbelievable. The ship's landing looked real kissy. It looked like it was actually there. I could touch it on the screen. It's just brilliant. Definitely watch this in theaters if you can. I'll probably rewatch it at home, but it's a fantastic looking film. It just lacks a little bit of action for me. That little bit of, oh, I have to see the next one because I would have liked a bigger cliffhanger or a bigger thing to happen near the end for me to want to come back to the next one. Of course, I will, but I think it needed that for the general audiences to want to come back to the next one. That big moment. But yeah, it's fantastic. And I've been reading up online about some of the stuff I may have missed, and some videos and things like that. And there's so much depth to this film. And is it Peter Skarsgård or Alexander Skarsgård who plays the Emperor? That's one of the most intimidating, scariest villains ever. The way that character just floats around, the way the character eats, it's freaky, and I can't wait to see more of it. Oscar Isaac is very good. He's a nice arc. But I'm sure, because Jason Momoa said there was a 5 hour cut he watched of this movie. I'm sure in that five hour cut there is more character development. There is more depth to these characters. Just they had to put in within 2.5 hours and focus more on Rebecca Ferguson and Timothy Chalamet because their story continues into the next movie. But yeah, it's fantastic. I don't think it's his best ever, Denis Villeneuve, but if I watch this one and watch the next one back to back or in one sitting, it could be an unbelievable story from start to finish. And he said there will be more action in the second one, so I'm okay with that. But yeah, it's fantastic. I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think this is one of the best movies I've seen ever, especially in the theater. I definitely recommend watching this particular movie in IMAX because you know, you get that full scale and you get that sound, which is the sound. I look the visuals in this movie, the cinematography by Greg Fraser is mind blowing, right? And it's
Oh
so
yeah,
unique and it stands out from everything else. But somehow I was just blown away by the sound and the score. And
yeah,
I cannot believe that I'm saying this, but I prefer the sound, a little bit over the visuals of this movie. And that's saying something because the visuals are so great. So the sound just was, so unique and so amazing. Every little thing was detailed. Every sound was so, weird and new, blasting through the speakers in your face. And the
yeah,
score was also very unique. I just loved everything about this movie. And the story, the story was a bit slow. Yes, I agree with that. But I also thought that like you, I thought I probably wouldn't understand uh, it in my first viewing because of so much new information that's going to be fed to me. But it was very easy to understand, I think, and very easy to follow. And in certain scenes I did feel that they were doing a little bit over exposition than needed, but apart from that I did feel that they did a pretty good job at telling the story, and it was easier to follow for me. And like you said, Denny already confirmed that if he were to get a sequel, then that movie would be a lot more action and he'd have more fun in that playground, because he already set up the world. He doesn't need to explain any more stuff, so there will be less talking and more action. He already said that, so that's a really good thing. I think there are a lot of great themes in the movie as well, and um it just deals with a lot of issues that are relatable, and I found that very interesting. I'm also very interested in the sequel because apparently that is that has much more political and philosophical themes, than the first movie. So that is what I'm looking forward to the most in this visual, action-packed spectacle movie, and I think it's very riveting. And yeah, I do think that it's once in a decade kind of a movie to be experienced in a theater, because the last time I got this feeling of watching a movie, I think was um, BVS, and then before that it was Interstellar, and that's saying something because not a lot of movies come out like that. Blade Runner 2049 was also great, and I think it's still Denis' best movie. But I thought that that movie did have a lot of pacing issues, especially the uh, Harrison Ford scenes. I thought were very, very slow paced. And apart from that, I thought the movie was brilliant, and it was complex. It was, um, it had a great score as well. The visuals are amazing. But I still think that movie is better than Dune. But I think Dune is very easy to follow, easier than that, and more fast paced and more action packed than that one. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching this again. I just wish that a sequel was coming out just next year, but apparently it's not. But at least it got announced.
Yeah, and like Jason Momoa was great in it. Oscar Isaac, Josh Brolin. Batiste didn't
Everyone
have
was
that much
great.
screen time, but he was very
Yeah,
impactful, and he probably had more in the second one. But Rebecca Ferguson,
yeah,
everyone was brilliant, and Timothy Chalamet gives this kind of subtle performance where I'm not too sure what he is or who he is or what he's going to be.
exactly.
And I think in the next one, when he gains more knowledge and more power, is he going to be good? Is he going to be bad? Like, what is good? What's bad? Like, why do most of this, the universe or the galaxy or the world or whatever it is, why do they hate Atreides so much? I would have liked to know that a little bit more, because they didn't seem to have any allies at all. They just had themselves, and everyone seems to be kind of wanting to hunt them down. So I wonder, are Atreides really good guys? Is the Emperor really a bad guy? What exactly is going on? Rebecca Ferguson, is it her mother? Is like a witch, or these witches or something as well, and they have these powers where they can make you do
Yeah,
stuff, like kind of like the Force. Like I can tell you to do something with the power that they have, and they can do it.
they call it The
That's very
Voice.
scary. Yeah, the voice, it's very scary.
Yeah,
Um, the way it's done, and it shows that how much power it has. Because in Star Wars, you have the Force, and it's kind of, once you get it, it's easy to use. But here, you really have to use the voice to make it work. So
yeah,
I did enjoy that, but yeah, I just don't know what way he's going to be, because he dresses in all black. Like, that's really villainous clothes. Like, is he going to be good? Is he going to be bad? Zendaya didn't have much screen time. She was more of
set up for
a
sequel.
vision. Yeah, like a vision to Timothy Chalamet's character, Paul Atreides. She
Yeah,
popped up here and there in his dreams and his visions, but she'll obviously have a bigger role. But the hand-to-hand combat action, it could have been more in that. Jason Moore had a pretty awesome scene, but it could have maybe went on a bit longer. And when Timothy Chalamet's character has one near the end of the movie, I thought that could have been a little bit more epic or a little bit more tense. It was kind of easy for him. Maybe that's just to show his power. I don't know, but yeah, there's a lot of details to pick up, because in his visions, people who die in this movie are in his visions of the future. So they
yeah,
obviously, that future has to change in some capacity. And yeah, the world building is insane, though. It's done
yeah,
perfectly. It's like it sets up so much, and it was easy to grasp. I understand it. I was worried that I wouldn't know the names, but I know the character names. I know kind of the cities and the planets and stuff like that, which is something that I didn't think I would know after just one viewing of it. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm impressed that he was able to do that within 2.5 hours with a movie that was so slow paced. That didn't have that much action. I was still intrigued by what was going on. So did you see that scene with the spider? The emperor,
Oh,
the emperor, the emperor has this kind of pet spider, with
Yeah.
human hands,
Yeah.
and it felt like it wasn't part of the movie because the spider's walking with human hands
Yeah.
and it's just eating out of a bowl.
That
And I'm
felt
like,
so random, and it just,
yeah,
there was no context and there was no setup.
yeah.
It just happened.
In the comics or in the books, I should say, it's not, the emperor has pets, but it's not a spider; it's children. So his slaves, yeah. So I think that's why they changed it to a spider, but I don't understand why it's a spider. And then the doctor, is it is it Doctor Wu? Am I getting that wrong? The the doctor that works for the House of Atreides.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I don't want to give too much away, but his wife, they're saying may have been because his wife is taken and he has to do stuff he doesn't want to do, but he does it to get his wife back. But he says that the people that have his wife are pulling her apart. So there's some theories online that the Emperor turned his wife into the spider. So I don't know if that's accurate or not, if that's going to be true, but that was just so weird.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there's so much weird stuff, like little details in the background, like you said, that we, catch up. And there's a kangaroo mouse that was
Yeah,
on screen for a very long time, which means it's kind of important, I guess, for the next movie, maybe. And yeah, there's also David Dasmalcian in this movie, and he's
God,
just
yeah.
now like a genre boss now. He's in everything.
He has the best IMDb page ever. It's
Yeah,
crazy. DC, Marvel, Dune.
yeah,
It just has to get Star Wars now. Well, Oscar Isaac actually has a pretty good filmography too. You
yeah.
know, he's been in Star Wars, Dune, going to be Moon Knight.
Hmm.
Probably by the end of his career, he'll end up in DC at some stage.
Yeah, I would
So,
love that.
but there's one scene I don't want to spoil it, but you know when I say it, I love the scene where there's a twist with the Emperor and Oscar Isaac, and Isaac in a scene is he's paralyzed. He's someone's given him some sort of a drug, and he can't move, and the
Hmm.
Emperor is talking to him. That whole sequence was fantastic, and then to find out the outcome of it was even more. Like, I was kind of angry. I was like, oh, I thought
Yeah,
that character was gone, but no,
yeah.
that was really well done.
Yeah, it was. And I completely agree with Siani here. I am afraid of spiders as well. I hate seeing them, but this one wasn't that scary, I think, because, it was a hybrid. For me, it's the legs that, get to me with spiders, but this one didn't have that. So it's kind of
It,
not
it
that
was so
scary.
random, and thank
Yeah.
God the movie was good, or I would have people would have butchered that scene apart.
It looked
But
like
it
something from Harry Potter.
just looked like it was an edit, and one just put it in for a joke or something. Weird. Wonder if we get to see the spider come back. But
Yeah.
I kind of want to talk about the sandworm for a little bit.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the main kind of storyline for the whole film is about spice, and this spice is used for it's to prolong life. You use spices in your food and stuff, makes you healthy, and also it's for interdimensional travel. If I have that right. And I looked it up online. It's not like they put spice into the aircrafts or the ships to go through time or something like that, or through the galaxy or space. There's something that controls the ships and they take the spices. There's like these kind of alien type of things that take the spices and it makes them stronger to be able to power the ships to go through space. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's canon to the movies or if they're going to change it in the movies. Maybe it just powers the ship. I'm not too sure. But that was interesting. So the big war for this film is over the spices. Like it's
Yeah.
like oil. It's kind of like in our world, there's wars over oil. In these worlds, there's wars for spices. For
Yeah.
spice. There's an amazing shot where the camera is just kind of focused on the sand dunes and the wind's blowing the sand, but you can see the red spice
Yeah.
blowing through the sand as well. Great shot that kind of opens the movie.
Yeah. I
But
love that. There's so
where
many
the
subtle
spice,
things in the movie that you catch like that.
oh yeah, it's great. But like if you yeah, so the main storyline is for the spice. But in the area that the spice is, there's this giant sandworm,
Yeah.
and it can hear the vibrations of human steps. So
Yeah.
if you're just walking through the sand dunes, the worm will come at you and just just eat you and just kill you.
It's
So you have
such
to
a
be very, very
basic
careful.
story plot point. Like, even Super Mario has that. You know, you have the princess, you have to save her, but there's a monster. you know,
Yeah,
such
yeah,
a
and
simple plot line,
like
but he made it very thrilling.
yeah, and the House of Atreides is kind of they want to they're kind of over the spice manufacturing. Like there's like I don't know what they're called. But it's like just imagine a
The
farm with
machines?
a tractor.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like a tractor on the sand on the sand dunes, kind of collecting or harvesting the spice. But there's kind of a really cool epic scene where one of them malfunction and breaks down, and they get down there, they work there until the sandworm comes, and then they're able to get out there just in time. But one of them breaks down. Pretty cool scene there. But yeah, the sandworm is brilliant. It's huge, and I didn't watch it in an IMAX theater, but I'm sure if you watched it in an IMAX theater, you would have got to see because there's one shot of Becca Ferguson and Timothy Chalamet just standing at the bottom, and the giant sandworm is like taking up the entire screen. I'm sure if
yeah,
you were in IMAX, you would be able to see the entire shot. But yeah, the sandworm was pretty cool, and so it's actually going to be a big feature in the sequel. From what I've seen online, the sandworms will be used for the wars, for the fight back that Paul Atreides will do. So that's awesome as well. But yeah, it's an amazing creature. It's something so simple that I thought would just be like a subtle, a monster to get by in a certain scene. But it's actually throughout the entire movie. This
yeah.
sandworm is shown, and you learn more about it. So I did like that. And then I'm just going to call them sand people. There's these people that live within
The
the sand
Fremen.
dunes, the Fremen, and they know um,
There's
where the sandworm
Yeah,
will
their
be.
suits
They
are
know how
also
to
pretty
avoid
good.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's like they use these suits
To
that reflects.
recycle.
Is it them that use the suits?
Yeah, it's the Fremen. They use these they have this inbuilt recycling system that can can take in your sweat and recycle it into drinking water, and then immediately inside that suit itself supplies you drinking water into a tube.
Oh, cool. Oh, cool. So if you
Is it?
sweat,
In my theater,
it
people
or
were
if
disgusted by it.
it's recycled, so it doesn't really
S-
count.
especially when in one scene some people were spitting in the recycle thing, and then that was turning into drinking water.
And if you also if you go for number one in the suit, it will
Yeah,
recycle water as well. So that's pretty cool. But what I liked as well, it's just such a subtle thing, but the sandworm or the sand rat, whatever it's called, it actually showed us how it survives in the
yeah,
sand dunes. Like they it drinks its own sweat while it's running and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. That was a cool detail. I really like that. And obviously that creature will come back into it at some stage because Timothy Chalamet just what he's seen the character, or the mouse or the rat, and then with the camera focused on it for a few seconds.
yeah,
There's so many subtle things that will come back in the next movie. That's where you have to watch the next one to really get it. But yeah, it was awesome. And to avoid the sandworm, you have to do this kind of dance. The sandworm won't pick up the vibrations of you walking, so you do this dance to avoid it.
yeah.
But that's interesting as well. There's so much more, but so much stuff to talk about. We don't want to spoil too much as well. But also Javier Bardem is in this movie as well. I didn't know he was in this movie until I watched it,
Yeah, me
and
too.
he's got a few funny scenes as well. But is it just me, or did Zack Snyder and Denis Villeneuve kind of reshape themselves as directors? Because I like their movies, but a lot of their films are dark, and there's not too many inspiring kind of funny moments in any of their films.
Yeah,
But then Zack Snyder's Justice League was actually one of the most funniest DC films I ever watched. But it wasn't like Marvel comedy or like stupid comedy. It was like real world comedy, like stuff
yeah,
that you do with your friends or your family in real life. And then in Dune, there's a lot of comedy in this film as well, but it's not like overdone. It's not stupid comedy. It's just like it's funny, and people
yeah.
laughed in the theater when I watched this. People laughed when I watched Zack Snyder's Justice League with them. So I think they've grown as filmmakers, not to make it so dark and bleaky all of the time, and they've added in that little bit of humor, which I think does help. The likes of Jason Momoa, who's been in both, can do that to perfection.
Yeah, he really brings the comedic fun moments in in this movie. Um, one of I think the only time people in my theater had a big laugh was, I as far as I'm remembering, was just in one scene, and that was the Momoa and Javier Bardem introduction scene.
Yeah,
Something happens there which I don't want to give away, but that scene just was really funny.
yeah. And there's another scene as well. People laugh. I forget which one it was. Um, I forget. I think it may have been the recycle thing, maybe. With the suits, that could have been it. But there was definitely somewhere else that there was a comedic moment. People laughed. But I think it adds a lot to it because it's not so dark all the time. It does, like it refreshes you, kind of reboots you when you're watching the movie when there's a little bit of a laugh here and there. But
Yeah.
yeah, Dune was pretty amazing, and I want to dig deep into the world building and more of the characters and the world stories. I might watch the original Dune, David Lynch's Dune. People say it's terrible and stuff, and I've seen some clips of it, but yeah, I might just check it out just for the fun of it. But then that's the entire book, so I don't want to spoil
Yeah.
myself what happens next either. I want to watch it in a good way with Denis
Yeah.
Villeneuve.
That's
I don't want
why
to read the
I
book either.
yeah, that's why I haven't read the books, or I haven't, seen the previous movies or the show before watching this movie, and neither have I watched any breakdown videos or anything on this, because I know in those videos people will just talk about the book and give away stuff. So I just want to be completely fresh for the sequel. Speaking of which, the
Yeah,
sequel just a while ago was announced by Legendary.
yeah. Dune 2 is a goal from Legendary and Warner Brothers. Denis Villeneuve was officially returning to Arrakis. The filmmaker's dream of completing his two-part Dune series is becoming a reality with Legendary and Warner Brothers on Tuesday, announcing they are moving ahead with a sequel that will hit theaters October 20th, 2023, which is 2 years from now. The first Dune opened in cinemas and hit the HBO Max simultaneously on October 22nd. It earned a strong 40.1 million in its domestic debut, the biggest of Villeneuve's career, as well as the biggest opening of the year for Warner Bros., which sent its entire 2021 slate day and date to streaming. I just received news from Legendary that we are officially moving forward with Dune Part 2. Villeneuve said in a statement, "It was a dream of mine to adapt Frank Herbert's Dune, and I have the fans, the cast, and crew, Legendary and Warner Bros. To thank for the support. For supporting this dream, this is only the beginning." Um, I don't know about you, but the first place I got to see Dune Part 1, that title was in the opening credits of the movie. I'd never
Yeah.
seen that anywhere else in the marketing. So for me, the minute I seen that, I was like, oh, he must have got confirmation that Dune 2 was happening because that was probably a late addition to the title card. So for me, I knew that in that moment that yeah, he's going to get a sequel. And then the way the film ended as well, I knew he's going to get a sequel. So yeah, it was made official. I thought they would wait until tomorrow because then it would drive more people to go check it out in theaters for its second weekend. Because there's a sequel, I should check out this one then. But
Yeah.
it released like 3 or 4 weeks ago internationally. It's already made it made like over 150 million or more internationally. 40 million in America so far, but it's on HBO Max the same day, and it's already didn't even know his biggest opening, so that's amazing. But his
Yeah.
other films for me were great, but they didn't have that like box office attraction star in a way. This one has loads of them, and it also has like a younger generation cast of Zendaya and Timothy Chalamet that have
Yeah.
huge fan bases. So I think that's what drove the movie to 40 million. Jason Momoa as well. Also, I think the marketing for Dune was brilliant,
Yeah.
even though they
I
showed
was
all of the
surprised.
coolest moments in the movie in the trailers.
Yeah.
You know, it showed a lot of cool stuff that happened in the movie in the trailers. But anyway, that's marketing. But yeah, the marketing was it was perfect for this film, and that's why it did so well. And if it wasn't on HBO Max, it probably would have opened to 60, 70 million, maybe even more. But it shows that people still wanted to see this in theaters, so it did pretty well for itself. And I think Samba TV had that 1.9 million
Nine.
people
Mm-hmm.
watched it on HBO Max, which is just 100,000 people more than Zack Snyder's Justice League. But anyway, I don't get a secret for that, but different kind of circumstances as well. But Warner Brothers is just going to run a narrative that suits them anyway, because Toby Emmerich was in the article
Yeah.
about this, praising the movie and him coming out as a hero. But all that stuff is just PR bullshit. Just so they
Toby
can
and
say,
Anne both.
yeah, but
They
that's just
acted
to
like
save
they did
gas.
it.
Yeah, I made a video earlier on my channel about it, and I went on a rant about those two when I was supposed to be talking about Dune 2, because they're just trying to save their jobs for when Discovery come in next year. That's all they're trying to do. They're trying to justify, oh, we put these stuff on day and date and it worked.
Yeah.
That's all they're trying to do. So, but I will have to see how that goes. But yeah, Dune 2, it's just a shame it's 2 years away. Honestly, it should have been shot back to back. It would have been cheaper, and we would probably be watching it in a year from now. But I think Villeneuve, I don't know if it was just PR or not, but he said he didn't want to do it back to back. Would have been
Yeah.
much of the cast, which is fair enough. So we'll have to wait 2 years. But my biggest worry would be, will there be demand for the sequel in terms of was the ending enough to bring people back? Was the slow driven story enough to bring people back? I have to see it, but there's more characters to be brought into it, so maybe they can cast other big box office stars for the sequel.
Yeah.
But this is good. It's good that we're getting this. And I think Denis Villeneuve said he wants to maybe try and adapt the third book, which is Dune Messiah, as well. So this might not be part 1 of 2. This might be part 1 of 3.
Yeah. I definitely think it will be a trilogy, at least. And I would be happy to see that, because I am already interested and intrigued by this franchise, and I would like for it to continue, especially because um, Denis is probably the best filmmaker right now, aside from Nolan, who has the best track record, like 100% track record. Every single movie he did is really good, and he hasn't had a bad movie ever. But
Not so many
unfortunately,
directors can say that.
exactly. And unfortunately, his movies didn't perform box office wise before until now. This one is performing. So it's a big win for him, and I'm happy for him. So I'll be seeing this movie. I'll be seeing the next one. I'll be seeing the one after that. I hope this is a big franchise, because, you know, I know this is not an original movie, but it's kind of like a very new franchise that started just now. So I would like for it to continue. Then we'll have Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon, and Star Wars obviously will keep going. I don't know what's happening with Star Trek, but I would like for that to continue as well.
The only
But yeah,
person that can save that is Quentin Tarantino. I
yeah,
honestly think that, because that franchise seems to be just buried right now in terms of the movies. Whatever J.J.
yeah.
Abrams did just did not work whatsoever. And I know that Tarantino doesn't like doing IP movies, but I think he'd be the only one to bring back attraction to that franchise and maybe reboot it in a good sense. I definitely check it out. I never watched Star Trek before, but I definitely check it out if Quentin Tarantino was directing one. But I think his ventures are more an original movie. Yeah,
I
they have to do
love
something
Star
big time.
Trek, all of it.
Imagine, I know we always say this, but imagine Zack Snyder was brought in to do Star Trek. Like, I think it would be huge. But
Yeah,
yeah, they need somebody. They need somebody to come in there and fix that. But yeah, we're getting Dune 2, and probably and we're probably witnessing a new franchise. So I wouldn't be surprised if a hit HBO Max series was announced down the line as well.
oh, it was already announced. Yeah, sorry
So
that
was it?
we forgot to address it. Yeah, the Bene Gesserit in the movie, the religious women group of women, they
Yeah.
have a spin-off announced already. That was months ago,
Oh,
and there has been no update on that. If it went into production, or the script is written, or the director is confirmed, we have no info on that. But the Bene Gesserit spin-off was greenlit already. So we have that
there you
coming.
go.
Yeah.
Go. But yeah,
So
let us know what you think of Dune, if you've watched it or if you're looking forward to watching it this weekend, and maybe the announcement for a sequel has made you want to check it out now. I'll definitely check it out. I'll probably just watch it at home again, just to pick up a little few things. Because I want to pause it at certain scenes and rewatch
yeah,
them, because a lot of the dialogue at times, sound design is amazing, but sometimes it's too amazing because you can't hear what some of the
yeah,
characters are saying. And a lot of it is very fast dialogue, especially there's a sequence with Rebecca Ferguson. She's just speaking really, really fastly. So I want to go back and check out all that stuff.
yeah, and stuff like the movies like this, they have subtle things that's set up in the beginning, and some of them you find in the end, and some of them you have to understand while rewatching. Like, there are certain scenes that you will understand when you rewatch after the context of the ending. So I'm just, waiting for that experience as well. But
And also, if
yes,
you're watching the movie, if you're rewatching it or keeping an eye on it, the doctor that the House Atreides have, he has like a symbol on his forehead,
yeah.
like a diamond. Keep an eye on that because that pops up then later in the movie. So keep an eye on that.
So yeah, that was our review. And speaking of Zack Snyder, Army of Thieves comes out on 29th, but there are early reviews out right now. We got the early screening and we are watching it tomorrow. So we will review it after that. But yeah, it's officially coming out on Netflix on 29th. And a lot of people, critics have already seen it. And there are some early reviews from them.
Yeah, we've got one here from getyourcomiccon.co.uk that says that Army of Thieves is an absolute blast from start to finish. We also have a first reaction from gatecrashers.fan. Army of Thieves is full of fun, interesting characters who you'll either love or love to hate, with Dieter at the center of it all as sweet, innocent guy with surprisingly great hair. This comes from nextbestpicture.com. Army of Thieves is a film that refreshingly doesn't take itself too seriously and is more focused on its characters' feelings than senseless blockbuster action. And this one comes from goggler.my. Army of Thieves world that Zack Snyder has built around Army of the Dead is incredibly fascinating and full of potential. Transposing the zombie story into other genres, from action adventures to heists to romances, is a great way to keep things fresh. This one comes from Josh at themovies.com. Army of Thieves. I enjoyed my time spent with these characters, especially Sebastian, who remains the perfect mix of nerdy cute. Sequel, prequel, spin off. There's no telling where the world of Army of the Dead will take viewers next. This comes from Stephen Colbert at Screen Rant. Army of Thieves hits all the right notes. It's a true Army of the Dead prequel with a lot of Snyderisms, but it's also a totally different genre and tone very, very much. While it fits the Army of the Dead universe and sets up Army of the Dead, it isn't a slave universe setup or sequel teases and stands on its own. Snyder fans will find the things they love about his movie here, but it's also original and super accessible with a fast pace and very funny. He also has another tweet about theories, which I won't read to yet. I'll go to that at the end because we're very intrigued about the theories that we have when we watch this movie with time loop and stuff like that, which we'll talk about at the end. This comes from thestreamer.com. Army of Thieves, every scene, I can't say the actor's name, but the guy who plays Dieter is in. He steals another scene stealer is Ruby Ofi. He brings a fresh take and she's a pleasure to watch. Ofi and Guz Khan also provide comic relief throughout. It is a delight. This comes from GamesRadar.com. Army of Thieves. Any scene that doesn't include Dieter is a missed opportunity, with the character being more likable this time around. Snyder made the right call to commission a prequel before Army of the Dead was released. This comes from IndieWire.com. Army of the Thieves has unique, clever heists, big twists, and major revelations, and some genuinely accomplished chase sequences. Serious, special, and fun, the film's best qualities. So he talks about an awesome sequence with the police and a bicycle. So excited to see that. This comes from Music City Drive-In. Army of Thieves is a well-made prequel that surprised me on so many levels. I love the high I got from watching this movie, and I can't wait to revisit it again and again. This comes from the CosmicCircus.com. Army of the Thieves sold me on how new life can be breathed into a zombie horror genre. Overall, I enjoyed the film and what it brought to the table. Here's to hoping that Zack Snyder has much bigger plans for this world of the Army of the Dead. And this comes from KeepLovesMovies.com. Army of the Thieves has cool effects, amazing action sequences, and brings to light something new and fresh. It will definitely be exciting to see if any other projects can come from this world. We also have there's some YouTube reactions where you can just Google the Army or just YouTube Army of the Thieves non-spoiler review. There's plenty out there as well. This comes from Priority. Army of the Thieves has a Quicksilver spirit reminiscent of Now You See Me films and like The Prestige.
Mm,
It kind of got to do with magic. That's interesting. Now You See Me, which had Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, I think.
yeah.
They got to do with magic and The Prestige. I never actually seen that one, but I understand it's got to do with kind of magic and shows and stuff like that. Um, MamasGeeky.com says, anchored by a simmering romance between Dieter and Gwen, Army of the Thieves broadens the scope of Snyder's Army universe while staying true to its vision as its own movie. This comes from Cinema Blend. Playing more like the Italian Job than Day of the Dead, Army of the Thieves gives us more of Mateus, fan favorite character Dieter, but in a new and exciting genre playground. So those were the biggest reactions to Army of the Dead today.
Yeah, those sound really good. Most of them are positive and they have no complaints. I think this got way better reaction than Army of the Dead even.
Yeah,
Because some people didn't like Army of the Dead because they didn't look deep enough, I think. They just saw it as a typical zombie movie and that's it.
but
Um,
also not too many zombie movies kind of come out nowadays,
yeah.
and it's not a genre everyone loves. Kind of heist films are easy to digest. Romance movies, which this is supposed to be as well, they're easy to watch, easier to digest than say a zombie movie. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I'm very excited for it either way, regardless, because we definitely made a lot of videos on the theories that we had about this franchise and watching Army of the Dead. So I am very excited to find out how many of them come true and how many of them are, just us going nuts with the conspiracy stuff.
Yeah,
I'm excited for
I,
that
I
the most.
I watched a video today from Joe Blow. Did you watch that one about Army of the
Yeah.
Thieves?
No, 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 I haven't.
Yeah. Okay, don't watch it. Don't watch that one. It doesn't give away spoilers. It just drops something that had me like, oh, me and Casey are going to have so many theories. So don't watch that video if you don't want a slight team spoiled on you. But I didn't mind it too much. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing. I was talking to somebody who had seen the film early, and they said the people who have theories will have even more theories right now, and then the people who are convinced that there is no time loop and stuff like that, they will have an argument as well after this movie to say that it's nonsense, it's nothing.
Yep.
But I just think there's too much variables there from the first movie about the aliens, the cyborgs, the time travel, the time loops, whatever it is, to say it's there's too much evidence there for it just to be a coincidence all in the one movie directed by Zack Snyder. So and then his prequel movie has hints at those things as well. Maybe not, but like come on, it has to be it has to be all coming together at some stage. But yeah, we're seeing this tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Are we seeing it at the same time? Or are you seeing it before me?
I actually picked the different time, but I think I'm going to watch it the same time as you because that's before the time that I picked. And I'll be available, I think, at that time. And the mail that I got, it gave me both times. So I'm just hoping
Yeah,
that I get to see it the same time as you.
yeah, I get to see it in 2.5 hours from now, 24 hours later. That's when
Yeah.
I get to watch it. So I don't mind
Nice.
getting up. I'm excited to see this one and watch it. But yeah, great reviews. And Mateus, however you say his second name, who plays Dieter, he's directed a lot of films in Germany, lots of TV shows and stuff like this. So he is a seasoned director. He's just not a seasoned director of this scale where there's so many eyes on it. And to see
Yeah.
so many great reviews is fantastic for him. And it's even better for this universe that Zack Snyder's building because we have the Army of the Dead movie. There's an animated prequel coming. There's this side mission with Dieter
Yeah.
with
That's the
safes and
one I'm
stuff.
most excited about.
The animated one or the
Yes.
Army of Thieves.
The
Yeah,
animated prequel.
the animated one. I like
That will
animated stuff.
answer a lot of our theories.
Probably, yeah. I like animation, but I prefer live action. So
Yeah, me too.
I see. I just rewatched the trailers earlier, and yeah, because Netflix don't do that much marketing, so you kind of forget about the trailers and you forget about the movie in a little bit. You
Yeah.
know, so that's just the way they do business. But they're successful at it. The reviews talk for themselves. But and this is actually this is surprising, Casey, because a lot of Netflix movies are shit.
Yeah.
So this is surprising. There's a good reviews. And I
Yep.
think now, after these good reviews coming out, they'll probably put a little bit more of a push with the marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think after the movie comes out, they'll start their, big marketing engine because that same thing happened with Army of the Dead. They were obviously marketing before because of Zack Snyder, but once the movie comes and it becomes number one trending worldwide, they have to market it, to make it even better and even more watched and stuff. So I think that same thing will happen with this as well, and I bet a lot of people are rewatching Army of the Dead as well for before this movie.
Yeah, on Friday I'm probably going to, when it officially releases on Netflix. I'm probably going to watch Army of the Thieves again and then put on Army of the Dead straight after, just to
Yeah,
see
me too.
how much more theories we can have. So I'm sure we can do a YouTube review tomorrow or the next day before our show at the weekend.
Yeah,
Just do like a quick thoughts on it. But I think we're going to have we're going to have to do a big stream at the weekend to talk about our theories, which will be backed off after we watch this film.
absolutely. And yeah, we can definitely do a non-spoiler review tomorrow and then spoiler review on Sunday.
Basically, people are like, "What's your theories?" It's like there's a time loop theory. There's a theory that the safes are a pathway to another realm because that's what Dieter said in Army of the Dead, and then he pushes Van der Rohe into the safe. Van der Rohe survives. Where's Dieter? We haven't seen him got bitten. Like what happened? There's the theory about aliens. We get to see in the opening sequence the cyborg zombies, with the origin of the zombie outbreak. Like there's so many theories that we have. The baby zombie. So yeah, that's kind of what our theories are.
Yeah, so go check out our channel and look for Army of the Dead theories. Some of them have already been confirmed by Zach, and some of them are yet to be confirmed. So check them out for sure before getting into this movie. So yeah, with that out of the way, we can jump into Marvel now, and let's begin with Eternals. So this movie recently had its premiere, and also a lot of critics have watched this movie. And early reviews from this movie are also out, and they are kind of mixed. On Rotten
What?
Tomatoes, currently it's standing at 72%, and that's kind of bad by Marvel standards because they're used to 80 plus or mostly 90 plus. And 71 is like, why is this movie so mixed? Why are people hating on this movie? Why are people hating on this director? And oh, that's outrage from Marvel fans. And DC fans are like, first time?
Yeah, exactly. But I am surprised though. Even the critics, like, I'm surprised. It has gone up a little bit to 74%. I think it was 71, but I am surprised it didn't because usually they come out gushing over these films. That says to me that it's broken the Marvel formula. Broken because Shang-Chi had it, Black Widow had it. They all had that formula. Every movie does, but like this one must be very different if they're very mixed at it. Brandon Davis, who I follow all his stuff, he's a huge fan of everything, and he gave it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah,
Which is
that was
surprised
very
at.
shocking to me.
Yeah, and then people say, "Oh, these guys are just paid by Disney, they're paid by Marvel to give good
And
reviews all the time." Not really.
he loves Zach's movies as well.
Yeah,
And
not
a
really.
lot of people
He comes out and gives it
compared
six out of
this to
ten.
Zach's movies, and he still gave
Yeah,
it a 6 out of 10. It's
yeah,
weird. Yeah.
because I think it's so different from what they're used to. That they like to know what they're getting going into these movies. The comedy, the everything will be okay by the end of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I don't know. It has increased my excitement for this film. Seeing bad
definitely.
reviews, I think it's crazy. And yeah, the trailers for me, I really like the first trailer. A lot of it was shot on location as well, which is refreshing for an MCU movie. Chloe Zhao was an Oscar winner. I think she came into this and wanted to bring something different, unique into it. I think if she has seen the other previous Marvel movies, she doesn't really want to do that. Why would she? She's an Oscar winner. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Like the only thing is, if this is received poorly at the box office, I don't know. I still think it will do okay at the box office. But if it isn't great, we won't see a movie like this ever again in the MCU.
Yeah, I agree. And I do think that, I do think I'll be very interested in this movie and I'll like it. But I just don't know why people are not liking it because I haven't read any of the negative reviews in detail. But yeah, calling this a mixed Marvel movie is also funny to me because 71, 72% is like the majority of people still like it. So it's not that big of a deal. But since it's the MCU, they are accustomed to the 80 to 90%, score. So yeah.
Yeah. We have some reviews about the Eternals movie. Eric Davis says Marvel's Eternals is spectacularly weird and rich with a new MCU mythology that makes it feel separate from everything else. It's honestly refreshing. There's a bittersweetness to the film that you feel in its sunset shots, a definite Chloe Zhao touch. It's soulful and thoughtful. This comes from Aaron Couch. Eternals, wow, a lot to unpack. If Marvel movies are a Venn diagram, variations within that overlap. This movie is off the charts, hand down the most indifferent of any of their films. This comes from Jack McBrien. Eternals is an epic in every sense of the word. It's a story that is more massive, but simultaneously more down to earth than the MCU has ever been. The passion everyone involved had for this movie is present in every scene, and it needs to be seen on the biggest screen you can find. Perry Nemiroff says Eternals is dense, and I don't know, is it? Yeah, it's Perry Nemiroff. She has a weird,
Yeah.
she has a weird Perry Nemiroff. Paranormal Activity is her at. And anyway, Eternals is dense, and I felt the weight of the exposition often. Movies at its best when it focuses on the Eternals recreating their family, the humor of it, the passion when they fight for each other, and the things they love. Also, Angelina Jolie in the MCU is everything. This comes from Chris. Um, Movie rules. I saw a movie tonight. Eternals is cool as hell. Drags a bit in Act Two, but when I went in knowing nothing about this movie and walked out a fan. Geek Vibe Nations, who follow me on Twitter, said fresh off her Oscar win, Chloe Zhao doesn't miss a step with Marvel's Eternals. Eternals is one of the most visually stunning comic films we've seen. Zhao has a great eye for detail, and we see that with her set pieces and character designs, which pay homage to the comics. Anthony Garglardi says Chloe Zhao's Eternals is absolutely fantastic. The cookie cutter Marvel template is thrown out the window, and you're given an entrailing experience and much must watch this year. This comes from emotionally invested Kendall Roy Stan. Often felt this giddy after a movie since The Avengers. Goosebumps, incredible action, both planetary and interstellar, and looks gorgeous. Most importantly, it feels like a live action anime. Can't wait to talk about Makari and Kingo, those end credits. This comes from Gory Howard. Eternals is amazing. Chloe Zhao and company turn in an evocative, how to say that word, emotional, extraordinary, epic superhero film. The assemble have great chemistry and all get big movie moments to showcase their prowess. The naturalism of Ben Davis' cinematography spotlights characters' humanity. Interesting. This comes from Ashley Menzel. Eternals is a total blast. A lot of material to cover, but it is handled well. Can't wait for people to see it. Of all the end credit scenes I've watched during a premiere, I've never heard the audiences lose their minds as much as they did for this one. Tessa Smith says, holy crap, Eternals is a freaking masterpiece, packed with adrenaline right from the start, but also filled with lots of heart and humor. So many MCU firsts. Your mind will be blown, nods to the comics for a totally unique story. Those end credits are game changers. Oh, those reviews are pretty awesome. I don't know who's reviewing it on Rotten Tomatoes, but yeah, those are mostly the positive ones. And some interesting stuff there about it breaks the Marvel formula. The end credit scenes are supposed to be mind blowing. Cinematography, interesting enough, is supposed to be great. And Chloe Zhao puts her stamp on the MCU and on comic book movies as a whole. I just like this film is marketed like an MCU movie with the MCU formula because that's what they want to convey. That's what they want to tell audiences. Oh, MCU, here's another movie. But it looks like the marketing is way off in terms of what this film really is because in the marketing, it doesn't really convey those themes as much to me. You know, that deepness with the characters, the cinematography looks good, but in terms of this is breaking the Marvel formula, the trailers haven't depicted that to me at all. So that shows that the trailers have been deceiving. And I'm kind of excited to see what the regular MCU lovers don't like about this one.
Yeah, me too. And I agree with you on the marketing and the trailers. I think the posters and stuff are pretty amazing, because they're so different from the regular, head posters. Uh, but The first one I think was very underwhelming. The second one I thought was great. It was very energetic, and the second one I think was great. I haven't seen any other trailer apart from that, so I don't know about the other stuff, but it doesn't seem to be getting a lot of buzz outside of fandom, you know? So I'm curious to see how this will perform, but the same thing happened with Shang-Chi, and that performed really well. Word of mouth was really strong, and people loved that movie. So, yeah, maybe we'll just have to wait and see. This movie has certain actors that are very familiar to the general audience as well, so that might help. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's got a young enough cast, and then the older cast of Salma Hayek, Angelina Jolie, who aren't old. It's just like they have that, maybe they'll appeal to older audiences because they've watched them growing up in movies, and then Kit Harington's in this one as well,
Yeah,
Game of Thrones. Oh yeah, I think yeah, it's got a lot of things going for it. I think this is the first MCU movie to have a LGBTQ relationship as well.
yeah,
So that's interesting enough. And then in some countries, this had like a higher rating for mature scenes.
yeah.
So
In Russia,
yeah, yeah. So it must. Well, that's probably for the LGBTQ stuff because they're a little bit behind. But there's supposed to be a number of love scenes as well in the movie, so that's definitely what we all want.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
no, but yeah, I'm excited because people are not excited after watching the movie. That's something you don't hear too often.
Yeah, whenever people are very mixed on a movie, I immediately am very much intrigued because if if a movie gives such a strong reaction, gets such a strong reaction from people, because I've seen some people really love it and I've seen some people really hate it. So
Like
getting a
you
strong reaction is
you
cool.
Hugh Jackman film Reminiscence. That one.
Reminiscence, yeah,
Yeah, people said that was the worst movie of all time. I watched it. I was like, that's a pretty cool, interesting, unique concept.
yeah,
I liked it.
yeah, absolutely. I agree, and I'm more intrigued after the reviews came out actually.
Yeah.
Um,
Back.
so yeah, moving on to the next topic, which is a rumor for now. So we don't know if this has officially been greenlit or anything, but the rumor suggests, according to inside sources from the GWW, that's the Geek Worldwide, I think, a
Yeah.
new Hulk solo film tentatively titled World War Hulk, which is also a comic, is in active development at Marvel Studios and is slated to begin production in late 2022, which is interesting because they are giving this much detail about it, right? So maybe it's happening. But also, what happened to the Universal deal though? Because that was the reason they were not going to do a solo Hulk movie, right?
Yeah. The rumors have been that that expired last year. But like, if that expired last year, I think that would have been like big news. That would have been everywhere.
Yeah.
Like that's nearly as big as the time Sony were going to pull their MCU deal. Like that's really big news. Like that would have broke the internet to a degree. Oh, they can now make a solo Hulk film. There was no word about it, and it was kept very quiet. So uh, that's what kind of kills this theory or this rumor for now for me because there was no big deal about the Universal deal ending. But that's why they have to make one. That's why the last one was in 2008 with Ed Norton. That's how long ago it's been with a Hulk movie. That's why he was popping up in the Avenger movies and Thor Ragnarok because he couldn't have his own solo film. And Mark Ruffalo was confirmed to appear in the She-Hulk Disney Plus series that's coming, I think, February or March of next year. I think
Mhm.
so. Yeah, I want to believe this rumor, but let's just say the rumor is true. I'm not that excited because I did not like what they did with Professor Hulk in Endgame. Really
Yeah.
turned me off that film. Hulk was very good in Avengers 1 and 2, and then in Ragnarok, I liked that movie and I did like Hulk and that. I liked the humor and stuff like that. I liked his anger, especially the end fight sequence. But in Avengers Infinity War, they just butchered the character as well by not even having the character in the movie just at the start, being beaten by Thanos and had no closure to that at all. And
Yeah.
then in Professor Hulk in Endgame, where he's just comedic relief, he's stupid. Like he does save the world at the end, but like he's just, I wasn't impressed at all. That's not my Hulk. It really isn't.
Yeah.
So if they keep Professor Hulk, I'm not going to be impressed. I want the old Hulk back. Give me the Thor Ragnarok Hulk. If you're going to give me any Hulk, it needs to have humor. It needs to have the MCU formula. I think just give me the Ragnarok Hulk. Like I can live with that one, but not Professor Hulk at all.
Yeah.
So then the She-Hulk series is supposed to be a legal drama, 30-minute episodes, and it's rumored that Mark Ruffalo has confirmed that he will show up in it as Hulk as well. So basically, World War Hulk is a comic storyline where the Illuminati, which is the smartest people in the world, it's Doctor Strange, I think it's Reed Richards, Iron Man. They
Xavier.
have this like, yeah, they have this group where they kind of control what goes on in the world in the shadows. So like, but then the Hulk, they deem the Hulk too dangerous for society, for the world, so they banish him to a planet. The Hulk goes to this planet, and it's basically like in Thor Ragnarok, where he fights different kind of people or creatures and stuff like that. World War Hulk, and he meets. I don't know if it's another Hulk or a woman or what happens, but he has a family, and in this comic storyline, his family's killed, and I think he kills everybody on that planet or something like that. Then he goes back to Earth, and he wants revenge on the Illuminati, the group that sent him away, that banished him. That's basically what World War Hulk is. They're not adapting that whatsoever. There's no
Yeah.
way they're going to do that. That's not going to happen. Marvel have they don't they take beats from the storylines, they take certain storylines, and then they make a movie or the Age of Ultron, but they change it up, or Thor Ragnarok, they change it up, stuff like that. They always change it up. I think there's even elements of that. The World War Hulk had like a prequel comic book or one comic book that came before that, but elements of that were in Thor Ragnarok. So it's not going to be a direct adaptation. Do I think maybe in the She-Hulk series, Hulk does something? This would be cool now that it is. Like in the She-Hulk series, She-Hulk has to defend, because she's a lawyer, has to defend Mark Ruffalo's Hulk because he got too angry or something and he caused destruction, kind of like Age of Ultron. And he goes to trial and he loses the trial and then he's banished from Earth. And then when we next see him is in his own solo movie. That would be pretty cool. That would be awesome. And then maybe that's why he changes from Professor Hulk back into the other Hulk. That would just be a way to retcon it. But that would be awesome if she had to defend him and they lost the trial and he was sent away. That's a way of doing it. And then in 2 years from now or whatever, you could have your Hulk movie. I'd love to see
Yeah.
that happen, but I just don't think they're going to do that storyline. I think maybe sent away and then maybe you get a solo film on a different planet. That'd be cool also. But right now, it's very hard to believe the rumor because the Universal deal hasn't been highlighted in any of the trades as being expired.
Yeah. I feel the same way as you, and we'll have to see what they are doing with the She-Hulk series because Mark Ruffalo is confirmed to be back in that. But also we heard that other Hulks will be in that show,
Yeah,
like Red Hulk
Abomination.
and
Yeah,
Abomination. Yeah. So this is just a rumor for now. That wasn't confirmed, but apparently all the Hulks are going to be showing up in that show. So I don't know what they are setting up with that. But I'm curious. But like you, I am very much disinterested in this character now, which I thought was pretty good. I didn't like the Incredible Hulk at first because it was so unlike the MCU at that time, which is funny because that's the reason why I like it now.
yeah.
It's so different from what the MCU is, right? And
Phase one
feels
was
like a
great.
very different movie. Yeah, it was great.
Phase one was really good.
Yeah, I agree. And I would like to see that Hulk, or even Age of Ultron Hulk, or Avengers 1 Hulk. You know, I just want him back. I'm
Yeah,
not interested in this civilized Hulk. This is very not Hulk to me.
and is in Professor or not Professor, but Lieutenant Ross or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
Was
Theodore
wasn't
Ross, I
he?
think.
Yeah, wasn't he in Black Widow? That actor. He
Yes.
was in that movie. Yeah, in real life, he was dealing with cancer. I think I don't know if he has beaten it, but he had cancer.
Oh,
That's why he in
that's why
that
he
film he
had.
looks a bit
Yes.
older and doesn't look that well. But I don't know if I haven't read anything where he's beaten it, whatever, maybe he's still going through it. But I think that would be an interesting way to. He wouldn't have to be on set as much. You could turn him into Red Hulk permanently. Because I think in the comics, doesn't he become Red Hulk, or am I getting that wrong?
Yes, he becomes Red Hulk, but I have no idea what the character is like or the dynamic is like because they have been teasing him as Red Hulk since that first movie, and he
I think
still
that would,
hasn't become that.
yeah, I think if the actor can't work as much, or down the line he can't work as much, I think it would be a good way to kind of prolong his legacy as the character if he was Red Hulk, because he wouldn't even have, I just think it would be nice for him as an actor. But yeah, I think they've been teasing that for a while, and maybe we'll get to see it in the She-Hulk series. Abomination was actually pretty good in Shang-Chi.
Yes.
It was some funny dialogue there with who was it?
Wong.
Juan. I was getting confused. With Juan, yes, that was awesome. So I'm open to see these characters come back. Yeah, 30-minute episodes and a comedy drama or a comedy legal show. I'm not too excited.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
So moving on to the next Marvel topic, which is Spider-Man No Way Home, and we have a brand new photo really let me set it up. We have a brand new photo released in an Empire magazine, a first look from the movie. And it's this.
Why are they making me
Look,
not excited for this film?
before you say anything, I'll just point out that I'm not going to defend the movie because I know that it's still made by John Watts and it still probably look like the shot here. But I think it will look just a little bit better because most of the shots that are sent to these magazines are just photos taken from set without the final VFX and stuff done. So this is not the final shot. But saying that and watching Homecoming and Far From Home, I know that it won't be vastly improved. So yeah, go ahead.
But
How do you feel about this photo?
if let's just say the VFX aren't improved and this is an actual shot from the film, I'd probably forget about it because all the other cool stuff will be in it. So at the end of the day, when I come out of the movie and I'm talking about my thoughts on it, I'm probably just going to be ecstatic because Tobey Maguire's in it, Andrew Garfield, and William Dafoe's Green Goblin. So I probably just will neglect all this stupid shit that's in it. But, like, why would you release this image to get people hyped for the film when it's the worst still I've ever seen from a film? It's terrible. It's really, really. But why is Spider-Man running away? Why would you pick this shot to show Spider-Man? Like, and then that's not even Alfred Molina there. That's just an old lady
CG.
in a wig or something. It's weird. It's ridiculous. Like the other one was cool that they released, but like this one is just terrible. I don't understand at all. They could have just shown like they're really messing around because there's no poster. We don't know who's in this movie, if Toby's in it or not. He probably is, but and then they decide to release this terrible image. Like, who said this is okay? Did they show Kevin Feige this? Like, Kevin Feige said release
Nope.
that? I don't think he did. I think someone just
This
like,
is
yeah,
Sony's.
yeah. Let's just send some intern did this. That'll be funny. It's ridiculous.
This is
I'm
Sony.
not a
This is
fan of
on
them.
Sony, not Feige. But
Yeah,
the
I
funniest thing
don't
about
mind
this
them.
photo is the Doc Ock um jacket or coat, whatever you want to call it. The physics on that, the bottom part where his legs are, right? The cloth folds with his legs instead of being straight.
It's
It's like a
fantastic.
video game character model.
He's Mr. Fantastic. Reed Richards. Stretch.
Yeah, it's
It's
so funny.
really bad. And then if you really zoom into Alfred Molina's face, it just doesn't look like
Yeah,
him
there's no
whatsoever.
face. Yeah, it's just
It's
a
it's
video game
terrible.
character.
And then there's no shadows. There should be shadows on his, his metal arms.
Yeah,
I,
so that's why I
just
think it's just a set photo kind of thing.
I I would have picked something better. Like just
Yeah,
show a new image of Alfred Molina, a close up done properly.
yeah.
But yeah, that's bad. I'm not a fan of the metal suit. I just don't. I don't know. I prefer all natural Spider-Man suits.
Yeah, me
That
too.
just suits me. It just aren't great. But the other image they released is pretty cool. You got Tom Holland there, and he's obviously after having a battle in a
He's
bad
in the
situation.
Spider-Man pose.
Yeah, the suit looks good. I prefer this black, darker suit. A lot of images have been going around with him in that one, so maybe that's his main suit. But we've seen three suits already. We've seen the metal suit. We've seen this one. We've seen the black suit. Been a
Yeah,
lot of suits in this
I
movie.
like the black and gold one. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not too bad. But yeah, they're holding out for this trailer for the next one. That
Mm-hmm.
rumors that Andrew and Toby will be in it.
Mm-hmm.
But then still no poster either. We're 2 months away and still no poster. But obviously that poster would have like Tobey Maguire's name on it and Andrew Garfield. So, but what are they waiting for? This is either the worst marketing campaign ever or the best. I don't know.
I think
I
there's
really
still
don't know.
time to release trailers and stuff. We are still 3 months away, 2 months away.
Mm.
So yeah, I think there's still time, and they can release a trailer like tomorrow or early November, and it still works because that probably would be the first official trailer, and then we'll have another final trailer, which would probably come at the end of November or just in the first week of December, because the movie's coming out on December 17th, I believe.
I think so. Around that time.
Yeah, so it's there's still time. They can still, because obviously they need to aggressively market this movie because they probably are expecting $1 billion from this movie. Um, so yeah, they'll have to play it very close. And Sony is great with
Yeah,
marketing. So yeah.
but they did an awesome job with Venom
Hmm.
and with that post credit scene and all that kind of stuff.
Even the
But
first teaser trailer is like one of the most watched trailers of all time.
yeah, what they can't do, what they did with Venom was release this film 3 weeks apart from the international release date.
Yeah,
You know, they have to
absolutely
release
not.
this. They have to release this day one or close to day one as possible everywhere at the same time
Yeah.
because I don't want to see it first.
Spoilers.
I don't want to see stuff. Yeah, I just don't want to see. I want to go and watch this because we still don't know what it's about. We still don't know what's going to happen. And
Yeah.
there's rumors that it'll be a Sinister Five instead of a Sinister Six. That we'll have Doc Ock, we'll have Goblin, we'll have Electro, we'll have it's, Sandman, and we'll have the Lizard. But I think there'll be a sixth villain there somewhere. I
Yeah,
don't know.
me
Like
too.
people are saying it's going to be Sinister Five. I think there could be another villain in this movie without the villain being in the entire movie or in the massive. Because for all we know, there could be a villain that Tom Holland has to fight within the first 15, 20 minutes. You
Yeah.
know, and then we get into the actual story. Like that could be something that happens, or maybe Tom Hardy shot a post credit scene as Venom interacting or getting ready to fight Spider Man. Like these are things we just don't know because Andy Serkis said they were touching up. Or the post credit scene was a late addition, the one that ended up in Venom. Like, that was a really late addition.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they shot something in the last few weeks to put into a post credit scene or into a scene, either with Vulture, Jared Leto's character, or Venom. I wouldn't be surprised. Then that would be six villains in the Spider Man movie.
Yeah. My guess would be Mysterio. Uh, Jake
Yeah,
Gyllenhaal's character. I think he's not dead. I think he'll be back,
I don't think so
and
either.
yeah, he'd be a big one for Sinister Six.
Yeah. I think eventually down the line they'll do a proper Sinister Six movie,
Yeah,
and I wouldn't be surprised if Toby and Andrew come back for that as well. Or maybe Miles Morales.
yeah. They have been developing that movie since the Amazing Spider-Man days. Well, actually, since the Tobey Maguire days.
Yeah, I don't think that Sony will want to cash in on Spider-Man No Way Home being the only film where they bring back Toby and Andrew.
Yeah,
I think it would be a mistake. Why not do three or four films?
yeah, absolutely.
Imagine,
Oh,
imagine they did like a Spider-Man 4 and an Amazing Spider-Man 3, and
that's all I want.
those were part of the MCU or the Sonyverse,
That's all I want.
or you do an into the Spider
I
Verse
just
live
want
action
Mark
movie.
Webb back though for that one.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe. I think they'd probably go with. I'd say Sam Raimi would probably do it, but
Yeah, I mean Sam Raimi for
And
Spider-Man 4 and Mark Webb for The Amazing Spider-Man
yeah,
3.
that'd be cool. Yeah, I would love to see a live action into the Spider Verse with Miles Morales, and then bring in Tom Holland, bring in Toby, Andrew. Like, I think I don't think they're going to give up. I think there's a lot of money to be made here, and Sony will find it very hard to say, Tom Holland, you're our definite Spider Man forever now.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. But yeah, these stills, one of them is okay, the other one is shit. But I still wouldn't, you know, be upset about this and think that the movie will be bad. It's just something that they give to the magazines. Don't worry about it. Even the Aquaman, even the Justice League stills were just set photos sent to them without any final VFX done and all that stuff. So yeah, don't worry too much. I know the final look won't be a massive upgrade from this, but it won't be this. That's for sure.
Yeah,
So yeah, moving on to DC news now. The first one is the Trench movie. Well, this is interesting because in 2018, I believe, after Aquaman came out, it was announced that there was going to be a Trench spin-off movie, and there was no update since on anything. It never went into production, never got any directors attached or anything. It was rumored that James Wan, or expected that James Wan would do it, but that never happened. But yeah, recently in an Instagram exchange, he was posting something else, and then someone asked him, "Will you be doing a Black Manta streaming series, maybe?" And James Wan replied with so casually, he just said, "I'll let you in on a secret. The cancelled Trench spin off movie was really going to be a secret Black Manta movie." And everybody just went nuts because this was. Black Manta is a cool character. I know a lot of people didn't like how he was presented in the first movie. He was kind of sidelined, which I thought was fine because the main story wasn't about him. And it was about Orm and stuff, right? So I thought it was fine if he was there just as a side character who would be set up for the sequel. I thought that was fine, but I know that a lot of people didn't like that thing. And also, this was most likely just shoehorned in by Jeff Johns because he was very adamant that his character should have been in the movie and all that. So I like the character even outside of the DCU. He's a pretty cool looking character, pretty cool character, and Yahya Abdul Mateen played him pretty well. So the design is also pretty good. So I liked the character in the movie. And knowing this, and I was not very much looking forward to the Trench, but I was intrigued because if James Wan was gonna direct that movie, it probably would have been a really good horror type movie. And now with this revelation that Black Manta would have been the lead, it probably would have been a survival horror movie. And that would have been amazing. But yeah,
yeah,
it's cancelled. At least for now.
yeah. And funny because I bet you when this was announced back in 2019, people were like, nobody asked for this.
Yeah.
You know, they wanted the Snyder Cut and stuff like that, which is fair enough. I wanted it as well. But yeah, and then now all of a sudden, since it's a Black Adam or Black Manta movie, sorry, people are like, "Oh, f you, Warner Brothers," and all this kind of stuff. But like, let's just say, for example, this was announced 4 or 5 months ago. People would probably have the same reaction. Nobody asked for this. Like, I want the Batfleck series. I want the
Yeah.
Henry Cavill Superman movie. Like, they would have the same reaction. Now that now that they were lied to, they feel betrayed. But yeah,
I don't
you see
understand that
that.
mentality. Even like with Peacemaker, like it's not like they are making these instead of Justice League or Batman. They're making these separately. You can still have this and that as well. You don't have to say we don't want this, we just want that. You can have both. Always be open to
Yeah,
both.
I've never like been angry over a film being announced
Yeah.
ever. Like Why would I be? It's just like the
If you don't
trench
like it,
movie
don't
could have been
watch
the
it. It's not going
yeah,
to be
like
forced into your screen.
for all we know, the trench movie could have been the greatest comic book movie of all time. Could have been the
Yeah,
greatest movie of all time, and we just don't know these things until we watch it.
yeah,
Like imagine if the Joker movie never happened, or Zack Snyder's Justice League never happened, or Logan never happened, then you would have missed great pieces of cinema, great pieces of comic
Lego
book material.
movie.
But
People
yeah, like
thought that was a
these are
stupid idea.
yeah,
The movie was
that's
great.
a great movie. It's so much fun. Like people just shit on this stuff for just no reason whatsoever, and they shit on Peacemaker every single day. But there's people out there that are excited for Peacemaker, and they're going to watch it. The thing is, like I don't read comic books, so I watch Doom Patrol, I watch Stargirl because these are characters I never knew existed, and this is my comic
Yeah.
book. I get to watch them in live action form for the first time and learn about these characters. You know,
Mhm.
and I would have did the exact same thing with the Trench, with Black Manta, with Peacemaker. Like these are ways to be educated on these characters for me, and I find this fun. So I would have watched. I might not have been excited for the Trench movie, but I would have watched it definitely.
Yep.
And Black Manta movie, I definitely would have watched that as well. And I think this will happen after Aquaman 2. I think down the line it will be announced for a streaming series. I think if
Yeah.
Aquaman is as big a hit as the first one, I think this is something that'll definitely happen because I'm loving Black Manta's arc in the Aquaman movies
Yeah.
because he's not the central focus. He's like a side piece. He's just doing
Yeah.
his own thing on the side. Aquaman has his King of Atlantis, discovering different worlds, and you have Black Manta chipping away. He's learning more. He's gaining more technology.
Hmm.
He's becoming more advanced in his fighting.
He's
And in the
also
end,
a part of Legion of Doom, I think.
yeah, and in the end, he will find Aquaman. He will fight him and maybe beat him. I'd love that to happen in the third movie. I think there's a massive showdown coming between those two. And I think in Aquaman 2, they will fight again, and Aquaman will beat him. He has to go back to the drawing board again and come up with a new plan, but he's learning about Aquaman more and more. I think the Trench movie could have been like Alien, Ridley Scott's Alien, where Black Manta goes to the trench to find a weapon or find a piece of information again to use against Aquaman, and he gets unraveled in this monster, sea monster kind of thing. Could have been very interesting, and it would have been more of a way to learn about the character, his intentions, his origin, where he came from, what drives him, and it would have added more depth for the character going into Aquaman 2. But that could be Aquaman 3 then after Aquaman 2 comes out. Maybe this will happen. But yeah, I would have been excited for this. But yeah, people losing their shit like they feel betrayed and that they would have watched this movie and they would have been excited. I don't know. Like this is a character that was brought into the DCU by Jeff Johns, and he was pushed into that film. James Wan didn't really want to use the character, and now people are defending the character because it's like a piece of evidence to use against Warner Brothers because you did this wrong.
Yeah.
But they hate Jeff Johns then as well. It's just like it's very messy. It's very hypocritical. I think at times
Yeah.
online. I didn't call it out too much because I don't want to be getting into stupid Twitter arguments. But I thought Black Manta was a great part of the first movie, and Yahya Abdul-Mateen has an amazing filmography right now. Candyman, Matrix, Aquaman. I think I'm forgetting loads of other movies, but he's supposed to be another big reboot or something like that. I forget which it is, but he's supposed to be coming in. He was announced for something else big as well. But yeah, this movie I think it will eventually happen, and
Yeah.
James
Yeah.
Wan will
Abdul
make it
Mateen.
happen. Yeah,
He's in
he's attached to
Matrix.
some other big franchise. Yeah, I said Matrix,
Yeah.
and Candyman, but he also has something else. But he has a great career ahead of him, and he seems to be a Warner Brothers guy. They're casting him in a
Oh
lot of
yeah, he was
stuff.
recently cast for something big. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a Warner Brothers guy, big time.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they try and tie him down and give him his own movie or HBO Max streaming service.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's a great actor. And after the Matrix, he'll probably be even bigger because he has a pretty big role in that. Seemingly, he's playing Morpheus. So yeah. All right. So the next topic is again another rumor. Um, so this hasn't been confirmed by any of the big trades or any of the scoopers, but there's a rumor going around that this could be happening. So the news is that Birds of Prey 2, in Birds of Prey 2, Batgirl will be replacing Harley Quinn. and I already assumed that Harley Quinn won't be in the second movie because she, I don't know. I just, the Birds of Prey should be a Birds of Prey movie and not a Harley Quinn and Birds of Prey movie. And I'm not gonna go into all the first movie and all that, but I think this is a pretty good move. I would love to see Batgirl in the second movie, a different team of writers and directors. I think that would benefit the movie. Um, but yeah, just removing Harley Quinn would just improve the movie, I think, and adding Batgirl to it is just another cherry on top.
Yeah, it's a rumor right now, but it kind of makes sense because Batgirl is getting her own HBO Max movie, and people are going to watch that movie because of no offense to Leslie Grace, but she's not a huge star yet. So most of the marketing campaign will be a Batman world, J.K. Simmons, Brendan Fraser, which is awesome, which we'll talk about, maybe Ben Affleck, and those will be the big marketing ploys for that movie. And Leslie Grace will be elevated as a star after that movie comes out. Hopefully, it's a success. Black Canary is already getting a HBO Max movie or series as well, so Journey Smollett will be even bigger. But Birds of Prey 2 makes sense. I think releasing this on HBO Max would be the best option, though, not in theaters, because I just don't see it making waves at the box office. Maybe day and date, that may be a good idea. But yeah, Batgirl in the comics, she's led the Birds of Prey, which kind of makes sense. So yeah, I'd be down for it, but I want to see a new director. I want to see a new writing team involved. Um, to see it's just something different. I did like the first Birds of Prey, but I just didn't agree with some of the story choices and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm interested, but I have to see Leslie Grace first and how she does as Batgirl, which is probably terrific. But yeah, this one, yeah, I'll watch it. I'm not like overly excited for it. I wasn't. I'm more shocked that the Birds of Prey 2 was happening more than anything else. But the first one was just butchered with a terrible marketing campaign of Birds of Prey and the emancipation or the fabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn. And they changed the title 2 weeks later to Birds of Prey Harley Quinn or Harley Quinn Birds of Prey. They just butchered that entire marketing campaign. So this time around, put Batgirl in it. Call it Batgirl Birds of Prey. Maybe it's a sequel to Batgirl. I don't know. But yeah, just figure out this one a little bit better than you did with the first one. And I'm sure it has an audience out there. There's a lot of Birds of Prey fans out there.
Yeah.
It's a great film, so I'm sure it will do pretty well. Probably do better on streaming than in box office terms. But again, I think if you put it out into the box office and Batgirl's in it, and you bring in another big cast member, someone who attracts, who's a box office star. Like imagine if Timothy Chalamet was a villain in it. People would just go see it then because he's got a huge fan base. I think with Birds of Prey, with the characters, and with the people they've cast as the characters who are unknowns, I think you have to put in a big box office attraction villain or a popular kind of actor into it to bring more eyes to it because I don't think the actors or the characters involved with it on its own is enough. I think the first Birds of Prey proved that, and also proved that Harley Quinn isn't a big box office attraction like people think she is. The Suicide Squad did well because of Joker, Affleck, Flash. Those things were in the marketing. Those things are the word of mouth of the movie. Harley Quinn was great, but then
And the
they thought
DCU
this
was
was
an actual shared universe back then.
yeah, exactly. And they thought Warner Brothers thought that Harley Quinn was the bee's knees and could carry a franchise. I think Birds of Prey has proved that, and Suicide Squad has proved that she isn't. So yeah, I think look if you're going to use, I think the way forward with Harley Quinn is to bring back Joker. Honestly, I don't think she's going to make big box office money on her own leading that movie. I could be wrong, but I just think what we've been proven, Birds of Prey and the Suicide Squad have not made waves at the box office, and she was the star of both in the marketing anyway.
I
It
just
definitely needs a
think
refreshing.
I just think that Harley is a great character and she can be very marketable. I just think the movie has to be more than the Harley gimmick. Birds of Prey was just surrounding around Harley's gimmick, and there was no proper story to it. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't like it, but that's why I think it also didn't do well. But also there was a start of the pandemic and everything. But yeah, I think if the movie she is in is strong enough to be, if you replace Harley with just a random character and the movie is still good, then if you add Harley in that movie, that means you have a really solid movie, and that will do pretty well. And I think the Suicide Squad. It's weird to talk about Suicide Squad because there are, like we have talked about here as well, there are a lot of factors that um, are taken into consideration when talking about why the Suicide Squad kind of underperformed. Um, so it's hard to judge Harley's um, value based on that movie. But yeah,
I think you showed her with Joker,
yeah,
and people loved that. And Jared Leto's got a big fan base. Back in 2016, people loved that kind of toxic relationship and those two together. And I just think you took away something that really, like, really brought a lot of eyes to Harley, and I don't think they've recovered from that at all. Jared Leto probably won't come back again as the Joker.
hmm
I probably not alongside Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. So I think I think if they wanted him to come back, he would, but I just don't think they want to for some reason.
yeah,
But yeah, I just think if you greenlit a Joker Harley film, that does well. No Joker film ever fails the box office,
yeah,
ever. It'll do well.
yeah,
So
absolutely,
and then Harley Quinn will be a bigger star again, and then maybe then you could try her on her own. But I just think if I still say people when I say this, people kind of go crazy. If Jared Leto was in Birds of Prey, it would have made way more money.
yeah, I
Even if
agree.
it was, even if it was just for the marketing, even if it was just he was in Suicide Squad for 10 minutes
Yep.
and it made over 700 million because the marketing was so strong with that film. He was scattered
hmm
out throughout. If you do that in Birds of Prey, same thing. Come on, that film makes easily another 100 million because the marketing is very like Suicide Squad. So,
Yeah.
but people think when people get annoyed because they think, oh, a woman needs to stand on her own, and it was about Harley being her own woman. You don't have to change the story at all. You
Yeah.
just have her break up with Jared Leto's Joker. You have flashbacks of maybe how he treated her and stuff like that, or
Not
maybe he
with a
pops up
random
near the
stunt
end, tries
double.
yeah, maybe he pops up near the end, tries to get her back, but she rejects him, stuff like that. Like, come on.
Yeah. oh
And
well.
also on that movie, like Black Mask, he's scared of Joker
Yeah.
because he wants to kill Harley Quinn, but he can't because he thinks that going out. But then when he finds out that they're broken up, he wants to kill her then because Joker won't care.
Yeah.
It just shows that he could have had an awesome scene between Ewan McGregor's Black Mask and Jared Leto's Joker. That would have
Imagine
been
if they were.
insane.
Imagine if we were watching just a scene in the nightclub. You know, Journey is singing and the scene is playing out, and suddenly someone walks in, and Black
Yeah,
Mask is commanding his other people and stuff, and then he turns around and it's Leto's Joker.
yeah. And
That
the
would
whole
have
place goes
been,
quiet.
yeah, that would have been
Dead silence.
amazing.
Oh, come on, man! Like that's a 5 minute scene. You could just use that in all the marketing with Harley Quinn
Exactly.
stuff. And people, they missed out. They missed out big time.
Yeah. But I'm very happy about Batgirl's entry because I am starting to be very intrigued and interested by this movie, the Batgirl movie. And like we have talked on here pretty much about this movie I think is going to be set inside the DCEU with the DCU James Gordon, DCU Gotham. You have a Batman in it. We don't know which one yet, but I 100% think it's Ben Affleck's Batman. Based on all the hints and evidence we have so far. And now, this is brilliant, man. This just made my day. So today it was announced that Brendan Fraser, out of all people, randomly, Brendan Fraser was announced as the villain Firefly in this movie. And this is like, what? What? This is out of nowhere. So, can you read the news?
I can't. Sorry.
No, it's
I
just
was
it just blew my
I was
mind because
too
I was
I was too
checking
excited.
the username and stuff to see if the account is real or they're just faking it because it just seemed that way.
Yeah, I was over the moon as well. Like I love Brendan Fraser. And he's making a comeback now as well. And seeing him being a DC movie, this is
Yeah.
great. And he's brilliant. as Robot Man in Doom Patrol, he's outstanding. He
Yeah,
is one of my favorite characters. But yeah,
mine
this
too.
broke last night, and the internet went insane because everyone loves Brendan Fraser. It's like Keanu Reeves, Brendan Fraser, they're both like the nicest guys in the world.
Yeah.
Batgirl enlists Brendan Fraser as villain Firefly. Brendan Fraser is headed to Gotham City. The actor will play the villain in Batgirl. The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed he is playing the pyro-themed Batman villain Firefly. According to sources, Batgirl star Leslie Grace as a superhero with Bad Boys for Life filmmakers Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah, directing from a script by Birds of Prey screenwriter Christina Hodson. The DC film is set to debut on HBO Max and centers on Barbara Gordon, the daughter of Gotham Police Commissioner Jim Gordon. J.K. Simmons returns as Jim Gordon in the film after portraying him in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Batgirl is expected to bow on HBO Max sometime in 2022. This is great casting, and Brendan Fraser is on a comeback. He's going to be in a Martin Scorsese movie that features Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro. Doom Patrol, I think, is getting a fourth season. I think so, and he's in a few other projects as well. I think he's been in a film with Darren Aronofsky. I think
Yes,
titled The
I
Veil.
am so hyped for that movie.
That sounds insane as well. And
It's very
now
ridiculous.
he's in now he's in the DC world.
Yeah.
Like I grew up watching this film. Like the Mummy films are just so much fun. George of the Jungle. He's kind of a heartthrob in the 90s, early 2000s. He was an action star. He was a comedian. He had everything going for him. He was just a massive star. His career went sour though because he had a bad divorce, lost a lot of money and stuff like that. Dealt with depression. He also had some studio executives. I think the story goes they did something inappropriately towards him, and they tried to blacklist him from Hollywood because he wouldn't do what they wanted. And his career went down. He started not to get roles anymore. But now in the last few years, he's made a comeback, which is awesome. So, like, not how many times he's played a villain in movies. He's going to be Firefly.
Yeah.
Now we don't know if this is the origin for Firefly or this is the seasoned Firefly. Like J.K. Simmons is a seasoned Commissioner Gordon. Like Affleck is a seasoned Batman. So we'll have to wait and see. I hope it's a seasoned Firefly. I
I
hope this Firefly has gone up against Batman before.
Yeah, I think in one of the reports it was said that this is going to be a retired fireman Firefly, so it is going to be an older Firefly. That was
Possible.
confirmed before.
And in the Batman v Superman prequel comics,
Hmm.
Batman actually fought Firefly. So I hope that's somehow canon. Um, in a small
Or
way,
they
it doesn't
just
have to
make
be
it
direct
happen in live
canon.
action.
Yeah, the next big announcement has to be Ben Affleck. It has to be, hopefully. I think a Batman will appear. It's just hard to know it's going to be Michael Keaton. Makes no sense if it's Michael Keaton.
Yeah,
Makes no sense. But anyway, especially if he has a history with Batman. But this is insane. This is awesome news. This is the most excited I've been for movie news in a while. Like this is just brilliant,
yeah,
and I think he'll have a lot of fun with this character, big time. Brendan Fraser's a big guy. I don't know if he's going to lose weight for this role or not. He put on weight, I think, for the Martin Scorsese film. So he might lose weight for this one. So he might bulk up a little bit more, maybe more intimidating. But this is such a cool character that flies around and has a torch kind of gun,
yeah,
shoots flames out. I think the character is scarred as well. Firefighter, so obviously he probably got scarred in a fire, makes him this way. And Leslie Grace has a very intimidating villain for her first venture, which is awesome.
hmm,
I should probably have to enlist some help from J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon because he's probably known of the character before, and maybe Batfleck to a degree. I made a cool post. Batfleck is looking across in the Justice League movie, and he goes, I faced him before. He calls himself the Firefly. That's all I want. That's all I
yeah,
want is Ben Affleck to those lines to Leslie Grace. Um, but yeah, this is huge news. And like people think, oh, it's on a streaming service. They're not too proud of it or might not do that well. It's different now because the streaming world has changed. It's now movies. It's now TV. Like people get excited for streaming stuff, and this will have a lot of eyes on it. This is a
yeah,
huge role for Brendan Fraser. Huge. Like this, more people will watch this than the Martin Scorsese one. That's nothing against Martin Scorsese. It's just out for movies and stuff like that.
yep,
But this will gain so many eyes on him and could be a big step for him getting even more roles in bigger movies. So people, this is what I'm talking about. This is great marketing for the film because you put Brendan Fraser in the marketing, you put J.K. Simmons in the marketing, maybe Batman, and people will want to check out this movie big time. And then you come away talking about wow, that Leslie Grace girl was awesome.
Yeah.
When's her next film? Birds of Prey 2? Awesome.
Yeah.
That's what helps these movies. That's what Marvel does well. It builds up these characters really, really well.
Hmm.
So like Loki was in all the movies, and then people heard he had a TV show. Oh, I want to check out that. I love Loki. That's what helps. And that's what Brendan Fraser will help Leslie Grace as a character background and as an actress because he has that star power. So this is huge. People will watch this, and everything about this. I get more excited for this movie every day. You have the
Me
Bad
too.
Boys directors who post pictures of Affleck's cowl. We talk about the
Hmm.
real Batman.
Christina Hodson
DC
is writing.
fandom. Yeah, Christina Hodson, who did the Flash movie, which got Ben Affleck back. Barbara Gordon will have the red hair from the comic books as well. That was confirmed with DC fandom.
Hmm.
Brendan Fraser, J.K. Simmons. Who else? This is awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty much excited for this movie. Just like you, like, I wasn't before. I don't know the character as well. I think she's a cool character. I saw her in Harley Quinn series, and that was a really cool character. But yeah, hearing all of this stuff till date, including this casting announcement, it has me hyped, dude. Especially if we actually get Ben Affleck's Batman in the movie, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
Imagine them fighting together in one action scene. Oh, that would just be amazing.
or a flashback to Affleck versus Firefly.
Firefly. Yeah, that would be cool too. I just want more Batfly action. That's it. But
Hopefully, this film's going to shoot next month in Glasgow, so
yeah,
we will. I don't know if we're going to get too many set photos and stuff like that because I don't know. It's like it gets dark here now around like 5, 6 o'clock. So a lot of the shoots will probably be night shoots. There probably won't be too many people out there, and we'll get pictures. Some stuff might leak of the costumes, stuff like that. But yeah, it's going to shoot next month in Glasgow, where the Batman shot its some scenes and some of its production and the Flash movie. So that's all good signs as well. But
yeah.
Brendan
Glasgow is
Fraser,
like no, it has been deemed the official Gotham City for the DCEU.
yeah, yeah, it used to be Chicago. Probably still is. Some of the Batman was shot in Chicago as well. Um, yeah, this is exciting news, and I can't wait to see more from this. Brendan Fraser, I think, is going to kill it, and he'll have such a fun time playing this character, Firefly. And he's a
Yeah,
great dramatic actor, even
yeah.
with his voice. Like
He
Robot Man is a bad
exactly.
tragedy story, and he's able to convey that through words. Well, him off the camera,
Hmm.
it's not
Without
even him doing
even
the Robot Man motion. It's not even him there in that suit.
forget about emotion. The robot man's face doesn't even emote. It's just a stagnant face. So even through that, he's acting, and you feel for him, and you feel everything, and he is most people's best favorite character from Doom Patrol. So
Yeah, you
it's
talk about
amazing.
Ray Fisher was amazing as Cyborg, but at least he had half a face to convey his emotions in.
Yeah,
Brendan Fraser doesn't even have that.
yeah,
He's just in a sound booth somewhere, just him on his own. But yeah, he's awesome. He's in Doom Patrol and he's in Batgirl. Marvel, you lose again.
yeah. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, with that we conclude our show today. That was all the topics, and thank you everyone for stopping by. And we'll definitely be doing a non-spoiler review for Army of Thieves, probably after we watch it tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Um, and then the spoiler review will be on Sunday with our regular show. So make sure to check it out and make sure to watch Army of Thieves. I think it will be so much fun because it will answer a lot of theories and shut down a lot of theories that we did here on the channel. Make sure you check
Yeah.
those theories out as well because why not have some fun?
I have a great idea. Yes, Steve.
Shoot.
Sunday is Halloween,
Oh.
the day we have our show.
Mm-hmm.
We should do a Halloween themed show.
Absolutely.
Just came to me. Maybe some guests on, have a quiz or something.
Yeah, sure. We
Just came to
can
me.
we can
We're having our, in case you're having our real talk live meeting during our live.
yeah. I'll change the layout, theme, and all of that stuff as well. So yeah,
I love
that would
Halloween.
be great.
Favorite. My, Halloween's my favorite, so that's why I'm excited.
Nice. All right, then. Yeah, make sure to check out Army of Thieves. Make sure to check out the theories that we did for Army of the Dead, and it will be fun discussing those theories after watching Army of Thieves in the next few days, next few weeks, because we will be doing a lot of videos on that as well. So it'll be fun to have you guys along on the ride. Um, so you can follow us at the Real Talk Live on all social media, and you can find me at at Krypton Caged on all social media. Where can they find you, Mar?
Yeah, movies that matter as well on all social media. Just search it and you'll find me.
All right. All right then. See you guys next week or this weekend, and take care.